build my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Longbangers. I'm Matty.
I'm Colin. How's things, mate?
Good, mate. Good, yes. Amazing what a difference a Hibs win makes to your weekend, eh?
I know. It does help. I seen 2 Hibs wins today.
Witness too, eh?
Aye, because I was at the women's match, so I'm talking on half a match here. Well, I'm willing to accept that not very much happened in the first half anyway. So I was at the women's game first. They won 3-0 against Spartans. Quite an easy wee stroll for them. I thought
Good.
Spartans, I think it's normally a harder game than that. I was quite pleased in a way, not just because Hibs won, but because I thought, if this goes to extra time, I'm not going to see any of the fucking Hibs game, the men's game.
It's just as well as comfortable then.
So, because I'm driving down there thinking, fuck, I hope, can this go to extra time or not? Or does it go to a replay? I'm thinking, I bet it goes to extra time. And I seen Dave there and he's like, it goes to extra time. I was like, fuck. So I was a good win for them.
Aye, good.
But I got home in time for the whole second half. I got the end of the first half on the radio and the whole second half on the TV.
Aye, you didn't miss too much. We'll pick out the sort of key talking points of it and then go into the listener talking points. So if you've been listening to Longbangers for the last wee while, you'll know that we didn't really do a sort of blow-by-blow account of the games these days anyway. We sort of talk through the main takeaways from it. So first thing I'm going to start with, Colin, is just to sort of say, is that as just one a must-win game?
Aye. In terms of the internet definition of a must-win game, although it is, I was just talking to my brother-in-law Charlie there on the phone. He was through the other day, and we were saying it's a good win. It's probably put them in a bit of bother. Motherwell, I'm sure their fans must be scrapping about thinking they're in danger. If we had lost that, rather than not, like a draw would have probably, so for the must-win point of view, a draw would have probably not been a good result for us, but a loss would have put us right, I think, in the looking down the way rather than up the way bucket. And I don't know where we jumped in the league after that, but we're probably in the top 6, aren't we?
7th, I think we went to.
Are we? Bastard.
Aye.
So,
but then we'll quick check while you're talking.
But as we all know, because the league's so poor, which is why it's so easy to finish third, as we found out to our cost a few years ago, and his Hearts are finding out now, we're probably not that far off third and fourth at the moment, because everybody else is taking points off each other.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not far off, and now we've got a wee run of games because we've been through that shit spell that we spoke about, and we led up to, and we hyped up the Rangers, Celtic, and Hearts games, which we did lose them all. But because of that, that means I think we've now got a run of Dundee United, Aberdeen, Kilmarnock, teams like that we want to be beaten. And if we can go on a good wee run here, I'm talking it up, but if we could go on a wee run here, then we'd be right in the mix for the European places again. Maybe no third, because obviously they've got a game in hand, which they've not won yet, but they've got a game in hand. Already got points in the bank, and they get a fucking rake of penalties.
Aye,
so
that's a problem.
All of these factors, we might be struggling for third because we've kind of had such a shit run over November, December, or October, November, December. But I don't think we're hopefully no far. We're not cut ourselves adrift. Whereas if today we would have been worried about relegation, basically. For the still talking about the must-win thing. While you look at the league table.
So we are on 26 points. St Mirren and 6 on 27, but they've got 2 games in hand on us. So you're looking up again to Livingston, who've got 1 game in hand. They're on 28, so there's only a couple of points, and then 29 is 4th, which is Aberdeen.
And I think in our league, at our level, as in when I say our level, the outside of the top 2, games in hand didn't count for. There are no points in the bank.
Correct.
Like they are for Rangers and Celtic.
Aye.
And most of the time, 95% of the time and more, that's points in the bank for Rangers and Celtic. No for the rest, because anybody can beat anybody on their day.
I think if we'd been beat the day, we would have been on 23 points, which would have put us 9th, and Motherwell would have went up to 22 points, so they would have been just tucked in right behind us as well. So
we would have been starting winning about playoffs and all that. And Dundee United have been on a decent run. They got beat today, obviously, but they've been on a run. So I think we would have started looking down the way. Whereas my preference is I always look up the way, even no matter how shite. Always. Like even if you had 11th in the league, I'm going how far out of 10th?
I think it's when it's late in the league, then I'll start looking both directions. But early doors, you're only looking at right, where could we get to? Never mind, like
It's just a half glass full.
how bad
thing
is it
and all
going to
that.
be? Do you think? I know you say you only saw the second half. Do you think we got a reaction from the game last week?
It's hard for me to say because I think it would appear the result suggests we got a reaction. I don't know what the performance was like in the first half in terms of bodies flying in, and he obviously made a few changes and brought back some of the better players. Like everybody, if everybody was ranking the squad on a 1 to 40 or whatever it is, we've got 2 or 3 of the bodies that came back in for the start of the day would be in the top 5. I would imagine Porteous and McGuinness, and potentially McGeady now as well. Would be in the top bracket there. So I don't know if it was a reaction or more that we had better players on the pitch.
Aye, and it definitely buys Johnson a bit more time because there's been a lot of noise about him. The chat about sort of losing the dressing room potentially, not going out and speak to the players post game last week, and all the fallout from that we spoke about already.
The losing the dressing room stuff irritates me. Like it's as soon as that team, or certainly Hibs, go on a bad run, which happens every season at Hibs, and I'm sure at other teams, it's just that they pay attention. That's the first. And it's Hibs fans that start throwing that a bit.
Aye,
and it's got really worse since the John Collins, the dressing room revolt fan, 2007. Some no right Easter Road. Any players on the play, and they're maybe just shite, or maybe they're not being coached very well, or maybe they're just off form, or maybe a combination of all three. It's not always that they didn't like the manager.
Yeah.
Like, you have a rough day at work. If I have a shit day at work in the morning, it's not because they like my manager. You know what I mean?
Aye. Okay, right. Moving on. Next talking point, Colin, for you.
Aye. So I suppose what do you think So it's about Aidan McGeady, but what about the differences he could bring to the squad despite being written off, obviously, by quite a lot of... Well, was it a noisy minority or was it a large majority? I'm not sure. After being injured in pre-season.
Aye, I think McGeady's signing was tarnished by the fact that he got injured straight away and we didn't hit the ground running as a team.
Missed a penalty at Bonnerick as well.
Aye, right enough. Did he miss 2 penalties?
He missed
in the shootout, didn't he? Against Morton, I think.
Aye,
so he missed against Bonnerick and then he missed in the shootout against Morton. And I think he was still sort of trying to get up to speed at that stage of the season when he got injured.
Yeah.
Today, I think what we saw for Aidan McGeady, had we had that over the last 2 months, I don't think we'd be in the position that we're in.
Yeah.
Like the potential, the difference that he can make to the team if he plays like that every week.
I don't understand this. Like, because John Collins was absolutely raving about him on the radio when I was driving up at the end of the first half, second half, talking about how he's the player on the park that can do something. Like a bit of magic. You know, he's got a touch, he can go by somebody, he's drawing players in, he's drawing free in, releasing the pass and making them all look stupid and that. And I didn't see it, but I'm willing to take John Collins' word on that. And why did we not think we would get that though? Like, why did we, when he got injured at the start of the season, did we go, yeah, he's done. Like, and we've been really unlucky in injuries. We've not kind of bleated on about it like other teams seem to, or get more credit for it in the bank. Like we go, we're missing Boyle again. Imagine if Boyle was still there now. We've got Nisbet back and we've got McGeady. Hopefully, going to play like that every week. Like, obviously the defence is probably more or the team defensively rather than just the defenders are a bit of a problem, I think. But like, it's such a positive having him back, but a lot of people had written him off.
Aye, and we're happy to write him off as well. Like,
aye, Hibs fans, not
getting him abuse for stuff that he'd said, like in commentary games and things like, or when he was commentating on games and things like that, was calling him an imposter and a wage thief.
He went to see Celtic reserves or something one day or something as well. And it's like, it was, I don't know if it's that thing because he played for Ireland rather than Scotland, and it's kind of lingering. There was a bit of dislike for him just as a character, I suppose. He was at Celtic and then he went to England and all that, and it kind of built up. around them, and there's a bit of resentment. I don't know why people were so quick to just go write him off. Nobody's writing off Halkett at Hearts or Gordon at Hearts and saying that's Gordon. Well, they are saying he's fucked now because he's age.
Aye,
But
I said that.
nobody had said if he was injured. No Hearts fans going, fuck him, we should just pay up, pay his
Aye.
wages, or tell him to fuck off. You know what I mean? Nobody's doing that, but we've done it with McGuinness. I say we, I've fucking haven't, but people have.
Hibs fans, yeah.
With McGuinness, they have with McGeady, and they've not quite got there with Boyle yet, but get a few months out. You know what I mean? And we'll be saying, "Oh, he's still not played."
Aye.
Yeah, and it's like it's a real weird. Like we're there to support the team, and yet we're happy to just to go, "Fuck it, it's injured. It's no good to us. Pay him up."
Bin him. Well, I'm glad he's back in the teams. I would say John Collins' description of the way that you phrased it was pretty accurate. What we saw from him was somebody could take the ball in positions that we don't have players that will take the ball.
Brave on the ball and all that. Is it passing tempo move? What's John Collins?
It was a passing tempo movement. So you look at our first goal, he picks up the ball when he crosses to Nisbet, and it's just a lovely weighted ball for Nisbet to get a chest down and tuck home. We've not had that quality at all. Like, you think how many crosses this season have gone in? Nobody.
Aye. So does that take us on then to the next one, which is like football IQ?
Yes. So
is that what it means?
I guess so.
IQ?
When Lee Johnson said it last week, he said the football IQ was missing, or we never had it on the park at Tynecastle. And what he was talking about there was players knowing when to play the ball forward. I think he got frustrated. One of the things he said, I was trying to remember it, was we got in positions and 4 times the ball went backwards. And we're not telling them to do that, is what he said. He said, that's not what we're coaching them to do. And they put that down to a lack of football IQ or bravery. And definitely, if that was how he was defining it, then McGeady had that today. And that was the difference. Lee Johnson said post-match today that there was plenty of football IQ on the park. Now,
did you see the pass Henderson played to McGeady? And
it just went right out.
It went right out the park. McGeady was coming short for the pass, and Henderson tried to play like a defence splitter.
Aye.
And he just fucking went through him. And like it was, I thought, how good is that? Because that's like a old head telling the young head, nah, that's fucking crap. That's that's a bit of leadership as well, though. You know what I mean? It's as much as he wasn't balling and shouting, it's his on-field coaching almost. Saying, what the fuck is that? And he was almost laughing at him, like when he was saying it, with the other sort of half smile on his face. I have to say, fuck's sake. But it was like, I thought it was brilliant when I seen it. Like, it was a shit pass, but it was brilliant. McGeady's reaction to it, to tell him, because that's what good players do. They say, what the fuck is that?
Aye, they demand better, don't they? Like, for everybody else.
It's standards. No, except
we've talked about it a few times now, is having players that are prepared to do that and sort of rattle somebody else in the team and say, come on, that's not good enough. McGeady, if you were to try to describe football IQ, I don't like the phrase really for Lee Johnson. I think the fact he's gone, so I don't think it's something you can switch on and switch off. I think it's like good that he says 1 week we've not got any players with football IQ, and then the next week says pretty much had the same team, but there was lots of football IQ there today.
What was it the same team though, right? Because McGuinness started,
not exactly the same.
McGeady started, and Poach started. Right. Other than that, I'm not sure if there was any other changes. But you've added day 3 in. You would expect that's 3. I was going to say international players. I think McGuinness is a full international yet. He was a Scotland under 21 captain, I think. But that's 3 players of high pedigree.
Yeah.
We've added in, which you would suspect also tallies with a higher IQ than the ones they've replaced, potentially. Not IQ in terms of Mensa, but IQ
but football.
Pass the ball,
brains. Aye. So who came out? McCurdy, Hanlon, and who was in the midfield last week?
Fish went out.
Fish. Hi, so yeah, you probably could say that you've got 3 there that made an immediate difference. I don't think McGuinness did much today, really, like in terms of his contribution. He did more than Henderson. We'll talk about Henderson.
He maybe never done much on the ball, though. You know, maybe he was creating space for others, though, I don't know.
Well,
maybe, don't know, because I didn't see it. And so but if you look at that on paper, you could see how it could potentially be a higher football and IQ, because it's better players. with established players as well coming in for a guy for League Two, a guy for Man United's youth team, Paul Hanlon, fair enough, but an older head. But then it's an old head that's come in, so that's contradictory. But you know what I mean? That you're certainly two of them. You're going, well, you're replacing them with a higher standard of player.
Better players, and better players on the pitch gives you a better chance of winning a football match, I suppose.
Basics.
So football IQ, we never talked about this talking point before, but Kevin Nisbet, hat-trick. He's come on, what was that? He's got 2 goals since he came back leading into today. So that was his 5th goal since returning.
In 5 games.
Yeah. A cracking return. Does he give us a fighting chance at what Lee Johnson called a super successful season?
Super successful.
He said we could still have a super successful season.
How big
a part has Kevin Nisbet got to play in that?
Massive, because the goals win you games. I heard it last night on Match of the Day. Danny Murphy said it. The goals win games, and I thought, fuck it, he's got a great point. Danny.
I don't know if he said to get a pen.
I go right, dude. We'll keep that, because I heard it last night. I went, for fuck's sake, how much have you paying this cunt? You know, but you got a boy up front. I mean, that's when we had your successful season 2 seasons ago. It was because he scored 20 goals, 51 for the front three, and he's back firing again because he's got players that are good football players playing with him. Because it doesn't matter what level you watch a game of football at. If a good player joins a team, and even if they've no, like they always talk about, creating partnerships and that, good players link with each other really quickly.
Yeah,
they just know. You just see it doesn't matter. You can watch a boys' game, girls' game, fucking women's game, whatever. A good player joins a team, and within maybe a game, a player like McGeady is going to link with Nisbet, or McGuinness is going to link, or whatever the combination is, because they're good football players. It's simple, but it's a fucking fact.
Aye. I was delighted for him getting back on the score sheet. I know he's got his critics, but it's we've not been clinical. Like, how many games today? We never got that many chances against Motherwell.
Did you see his stats that came up at the end?
No.
Nisbet's, when they gave him man of the match on the telly. He had 5 shots on goal, 3 on target, 3 goals.
Aye.
And how many times have we said, fucking 30 shots on target, or 30 shots on goal and 21 on target, and we got 1 goal? Well,
or no goals. Aye.
3 shots on target, 3 goals. That's clinical. You know what I mean?
That's what I was coming to, and it's one of the things that's absolutely been missing this season is somebody that just gets a sniff and then can put the ball in the back of the net, because we've been so wasteful, and today we weren't wasteful, and that's probably the biggest factor in us winning the game. Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong, like all 5 goals today were poor defensively. For both, obviously for both teams, the 5 goals were, but his finishing was good. He had far too much time and space and all that, and I don't think the IQ stuff and all that. I don't think that comes into. Like McGeady just played him an easy ball in, and he had so much time. He just fucking scored it. You know what I mean? There was no real genius creation or anything. It was really fun. If you're a Motherwell fan, sitting on the Motherwell podcast tonight, they must be going, fuck's sake.
Aye. Nisbet takes a good step off the centre half, so he just takes a good position in between them.
I think he makes it look even easier, or even worse for the defender. Because even the 3rd goal, it was just like a wee sort of half step to the side. It gave him space to bash it in, but it makes it just looks soft as fuck for the defenders.
Aye, their defending was awful. I was just say woeful there, and then almost went waffle.
Waffles, all right. You're hungry, just eat it.
No, had my tea. So that was Nisbet hat-trick, which is great. I think actually if we can keep him fit and in that form, big ifs. But it does give you a sense of optimism that this time yesterday was there.
Absolutely.
Which is fun enough. Right, what have we got next?
Just on it though, can I just reinforce the point I did predict Nisbet as top scorer?
You did?
In the summer prediction season podcast, sorry.
Who did I have? Did I go for Ewan?
I'd need to look it back up. You might have went for Ewan.
I think I probably did.
Now, and we'll come on to Henderson, who I predicted as my young player of the year, so young and young. But Aye. What was next that you were going to talk about?
I think right back.
It was.
So there's a defence overall, and that'll probably kind of get covered when we do the listener talking points. Chris Cannon got injured today. At a period in the game where I thought we were pretty comfortable, so we were a goal up by that point. Cannon went off, Henderson came on, and Campbell went to right back, and we fell right out of the game. Like for the rest of that half, really, we were terrible. When you look at the bench and you're going, there's not much there. No Lewis Miller would be your cover, or Cannon would be covering Lewis Miller otherwise. But last week in the derby, Will Fish played right back. We got caught out down that side. Cadden was there today. As soon as he went off, we didn't have a replacement. Is that a priority position to fill before the end of January?
We've got the lad. Did the lad play on the bench last week as well? Megwa,
aye. But he wasn't even.
I don't
like,
know much about him.
Took him through the day.
It does seem. Is it strange? I don't know if strange is the right word, but he started somebody in that position last week. Yet when the guy goes off injured today, he's not even good enough to come on in that position that he started in our bigger game last week. Now, we did make an absolute fucking cunt of it last week, right? I never spoke about it at the time because I never done the podcast. I probably spoke about spaces. How the fuck? Like that? I mean, that bit of defending was horrendously bad. There's no getting away with it. You can't defend it. You can't defend that bit of defending. There's nothing, there's nothing mitigation in there that you can say about it, because all you need to do is take a half step to the left and take the foul as soon as the boy tries to play the ball. Right, that's it. That's just the rules, and that's what you need to do. But why is he still on the bench if we've got no intention of winning on?
Aye, it is mental, but I think this is where you get frustrated with Lee Johnson, where there's no rhyme or reason to half his decisions. Like, you'll make a call like that, like you say, for our biggest game at Tynecastle, chuck Will Fish in the right back. Now, actually, the goal that we conceded aside, I think, was down to the fact he was out of position. Playing out of position.
No, it was just bad defending.
Bad defending.
Bad. Anybody should be able to defend that. A centre forward should be able to go and defend that out.
Aye, but you would think that if you're going, well, I was comfortable enough to start him and put my faith in him there for this game, and your right back's gone off, why would you not put him in and keep the midfield as it was? Because the midfield was doing well at that point.
He must be sitting there thinking, well, that's mute then. Right? I'm not even getting on. Although I know he's a centre half, but like if you start a game at right back the week before, and then you're right, then you put in midfielders back at the right back instead.
Aye,
it seems mad.
And the move, I came and won the game. So you go. I think kind of if winning the game then sort of vindicates every decision that has been made through it, because we'll probably talk about the subs as well at some point. Because just before we scored the third,
I've seen a talking point that came in about the subs, so
we'll catch up with them. But I think that's a worry if Cadden's going to be out, because I think it was a hamstring they were talking about on the TV, and a hamstring tends to be a quick one to come back. It can be like a minor one.
It could be 6 weeks in that, right? 4 weeks is usually about the lightest time for it.
He said he was playing drugged up last week at Tynecastle. But look at, I think he was the only one.
Year though,
So if he's playing through the pain barrier then and then having to come off the day, I would imagine he's probably going to have a wee bit of time out. Miller's not ready to come back yet, so then we've not got a right back. So we're either going to have to play somebody out of position, promote a youngster in Megwa, or go into the market and bring somebody in, even if it's a loan.
I don't know what the lad is like. I have seen the 19s a couple of times this season. I went to both of the European games, and I think I know what one he is. And he did appear to be one of the better players, but kind of compare an under-19s boys game against the. You've seen that with the laddie Fish. He's come from Man United. He couldn't fucking roll a ball at the park. So, like, what we expect chucking an under-19 in? You know, like I'm not sure. Although, what other option have we got? I might just have to, because I don't think I'd want to see Josh Campbell there.
No. And even later in the game, Stevenson ended up at right back.
Well, that was what I thought the other option might have been. Because then you've got Chabraya on the bench, and I thought, I wonder if, because Stevenson's played at right back before, but he obviously lose a bit because he's quite one-footed, like very one-footed. So it's easy to play against him because you know he's always got to keep cutting in on his left. He's not got to go down the wing.
All right, so that's a worry. Next point,
Yeah.
Ewan Henderson.
Yeah. He struggled a bit. I did mention it there. I mean, obviously, I thought he was quite good in the League Cup group stages.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I put him down as my Young Player of the Year prediction. I think I'm not sure who would get it, to be honest with you, at the moment, but it's not going to be him. And actually, a wee bit, I didn't see Cadden go off, and I didn't see the substitution. I seen stuff in the group chat saying he was coming on and that. But there was other substitutions there that could have possibly been made. I mean, like to bring on there's other midfielders there that were available. There was other options that, like maybe, Fish or Porteous to right back. Porteous played right back this season.
You could have brought
And
Ken on, who's played
Ken
centre half
on.
before, apparently when he was there, CDM.
That's right. So there was a lot of other options. So to bring Henderson on, I wonder I'd be interested to know what the thinking is, because it's not like he's been knocking on the door.
No.
And I'm lucky to find his cell at the team or anything like that. And then he struggled when he came on, for what I saw. Like he was knocking the ball to play, he was knocking passes like the one I mentioned already, and other, didn't look like scoring. He actually looked a bit at one point. The camera went, I think it was at the McGeady one and Henderson one that I mentioned, and he looked a bit like, oh, fuck. I mean, I fucked that up. You know what I mean? And you could see it almost, the confidence sort of leave him live on fucking TV.
As McGeady's berating him.
Aye. But he's right to berate him. Like, I'm not, absolutely right. We need to drive the standard up.
Aye. I think with Henderson, what we've seen from him this season, and it's not just this game in isolation. I think we've talked about him before on the podcast, and you start to kind of build a picture of where the issue is. I don't think he's strong enough at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't think he's quick enough. He certainly doesn't appear to be brave enough on the ball. So not just the brave and going into physical challenges and putting himself about and being prepared to take a hit. The bravery to kind of get on the ball and do what McGeady did in the difficult spaces and then still make something happen.
Yeah.
And actually, his quality on the ball, which is probably the thing that I think he had a bit of a reputation for, isn't there? Like he's no finding passes, he's no beating men with dribbles. He's offering nothing. And I think if for me, his performance today, if I was Lee Johnson, I would be sitting looking at him going, I can't trust him for however long we've got left in the season.
Yeah.
I can't trust him to play, because if I put him on and he plays like this, we're giving up a position or an area, because that's what happened. We lost in midfield when he came on. So you're either giving up the position that he's playing or that whole area to accommodate him.
I didn't like singling out individuals like that, but I mean, he's just first sub. What? How many minutes? 20 minutes or something in the game?
Half an hour in, something like that.
Half an hour. I'm not sure. Like I'm not sure if it was almost like a last chance. Go and do something.
Aye,
the windows
roll the dice.
Don't know. Don't know.
I think if I was Johnson, I would be looking to see who are my alternatives there, and put a name in, because you can't be. We're not good enough to carry it. That's the problem we've got. It's all right if the rest of the team's flying, you can get away with it and maybe kind of let him feel his way back into the team.
I agree. It's funny when we were talking about the laddie Megwa a minute ago. That's what I was thinking. If we were better, I'd just play him on Saturday.
Aye,
but we're not good enough yet. Defensively, as a team, and the whole, not just the 4 defenders, defensively, we're not good enough. We'd be exposing that laddie.
Aye,
and we can't carry him.
Did we have any other ones to bring up that we'd thought of, or are we going to listeners?
We've got listeners after we make the point, I think, about winning a game against 11 men, because they never got anybody sent off, did they?
Aye. Motherwell had never sent off.
We'll just clock that one up in that column.
So we have got another one to add to the evidence that we can beat 11 men. That has happened.
I was sitting, 3-1, sitting in the house, wife and daughter, and I said, it's nice to get a nice, easy, comfortable win. And then they fucking scored. I think the last word of that sentence was coming out, and I went, oh, fuck me, there's still 4 minutes to go. If you ever just have a nice, comfortable, and it was fairly comfortable, but it wasn't, because of the score with the time to go as well.
I think we were saying that, you're like, fucking hell, like, how can we make it difficult? Because we were
Yeah.
when it went 3-1, the wind went to Motherwell sails, and you could see they kind of they almost chucked it, and then they get that goal, no out of nothing, but it was our mistake that led to, I think, Chabria's trying to get the ball out of defence, and he gives it away when he didn't really need to give it away, and it's just a ball in the box, bouncing about a bit, and
Just shitty goals, all 5.
what did you think of Rocky's penalty shout? By the way, meant to say that. So Rocky got arms round him as he's going for a header. He went down. One of the commentators said he's trying to con the referee.
Aye.
And then McFadden goes, "Tell you what though, he gave one away for a lot less than that."
Did he?
Against Rangers, he called it out, which was brilliant, because I was fucking raging about it. I'm like, about inconsistencies. I'm like, by the way,
he gave the referee a decision to make, was the call then, wasn't it?
The boys had a clumsy touch on him. That's what
and
it is.
That wasn't even VAR, that decision. That one, we'll go back, harken back to the first game of the season and that second game of the season.
So
the chop and change the rules. That's a frustration. Like the chop and change the rules.
They did for the handball as
commentators.
Well. The commentators do. The referee changed the rules for the handball. Newell had one that came off his footing against Livy, off his footing onto his hand. Penalty this week. Their boy did it off his footing onto his arm.
Aye.
That's fine.
And I think Porteous might have done it the day as well, because they were talking about it in the radio
at
the end of the first stuff. And they were like, you can't, he's kicked off his cell, you can't, it's definitely not a penalty. I think the new one might have slipped it on Christmas Eve, because it was Christmas Eve, game was won, everybody's got to get him. But also that nobody really clocked it. But then that's what VR's meant to be for, So,
VR's meant, because might have gone mental about it at the time. Right, anyway, listener questions and points. First one's from St Christopher. Happy New Year to St Christopher. I don't think we've I don't care if he's been on space or anything since then, right? So he said, if Cadden is out, Campbell must stay in midfield. He played well in defence, but we missed his drive. It allowed Motherwell back into the game. I think we pretty much covered that. And you look at Motherwell's first goal came from Campbell's side.
He just misjudged it, because he's the first goal. It was the long ball,
just the ball for the top.
And it was just like, because centre half never attacked it. The right backs come in and totally misjudged it, probably because he's no used to covering that kind of long ball diagonal in, because he's not a right back. I think it was more so losing the goal. I think it was more that we replaced a hard grafter in midfield with a high IQ ball player.
Hi, in inverted commas. Right, 91-25 analysis said LJ will want a consistent lineup as far as possible next week versus Dundee United, who did okay versus Rangers. If Cadden is out and Porteous leaves or transfers this week, how does that side line up on Saturday? So if you had to replace Cadden and Porteous, how are you doing it?
I think we've already spoken about the right back situation. We've no idea. We need to get somebody in. We need to get Lewis Miller back fit, or we need to chuck the laddie in, or we go back with Fish again, or Fish goes in at centre half to cover Porteous. Although Hanlon would just come straight back in, wouldn't he? To cover Porteous.
But would you be putting Hanlon straight back into the team though?
Well, he got off the bench today, so he's obviously still in the picture. It's not like he's been totally binned. So I think Hanlon would come in for Porteous. You'd have to until we replace him. It'll replace both of them. And then the right back's a situation that you have to go with Fish or play Campbell at the position.
Oh, young laddie. Or do you go your 3-5-2 then? Fish, Rocky, and Hanlon. Fish, Rocky, and Hanlon.
Somebody still needs to play on the right hand side.
Aye, but you could probably get away with then maybe Ewan playing that one and getting up in the right.
Back far enough. You'd end up playing Campbell at wing back.
Aye,
because he's got the legs to do it. It's a bit of a mess. One position. How does one position fuck you up that much?
Aye, it's got to do. Gaza says, as fans, about bloody time we weren't great, just took our chances for a change. Long way to go before they deserve praise. I'm all for. I kind of get the point that it's a small step forward, isn't it? Like, so we kind of be gushing and.
But it is a step forward, though.
But aye, that's it. You should give credit where it's due, I think. Famous Edinburgh Hibs said, good result today, much needed 3 points, but we're still in trouble with LJ. It'll never happen, but Rodrigo Acosta, manager, and John Collins, director of football, are the two we need to save our club. They would work well together and would take us to a level we haven't seen since the 70s.
Aye.
Who's Rodrigo Acosta, Colin? Do you know?
No idea. No. No idea, mate. I don't even care how good a director of football John Collins is, yeah.
Has he had a role like that, Collins, anywhere?
Did he not do it with Yogi at somewhere? Livingston or Falkirk or something? Because he's mates with Yogi, so Yogi was manager and he went and done director of football. But
Aye, so Rodrigo Acosta, I'm just having a look to see who. This is when you're not speaking to experts, like in the football world.
That's I'd barely look past England for football, like, you know, it's like no idea.
He's not coming up on Google.
So bring up. Is it one of the daft names?
I don't know. Doesn't jump out as one of the daft ones, is it?
No, doesn't sound like one.
Nah. But I'm all for. I think Collins had good ideas. I think, see, if you were bringing Collins in, what you'd be looking for him to bring his experience of playing at top teams, you know, where he was at Monaco under Wenger. I think he worked with him there.
Aye.
But even then, you think of how relevant that is to the game of the day. Because Collins was a player 20 years ago.
30
years ago?
25. 98 was 25, eh? So.
Aye, bloody hell. So, again, those experiences.
That was the end of his career. You know what I mean? That's when he was an experienced player in 98.
Aye. Well, will they be valuable? Is that what the modern player needs? And are you building your setup on an outdated model then?
But what's his? Why would he be a good director of football? Like, because is their job not to go and negotiate contracts in that?
No, see, my view of a director of football would be that they oversee like the football direction the club's taken. So this is how we want to play. So how do we make sure that style of play, for example, is consistent all the way through the levels? How do we make sure that the standard of player that we bring in is consistent through all the different levels, and the squad's got the right makeup, that we've got the right age profiles, all that kind of thing? I think the director of football ties it all together. Doesn't necessarily do it all, but makes sure that everybody.
And then he gets linked with the manager's job, and the manager comes under pressure.
Aye.
That one as well. And
then, they make sure the manager comes in that isn't going to have to revolutionise everything. They just come in and take over where the last guy left.
I like that model on the face of that. But I don't know if John Collins is the right man for it.
No.
As much as I liked him as a player, and as much as I've liked him as a manager at Hibs when he was here, I quite liked him. And I didn't mind him on the radio, believe it or not. Sometimes I think he talks pish, but I didn't mind him. But I don't know if he's a good director of football or not.
No, I wonder how you become a good director of football. Like, would it be an ex-player, or would a director of football be better being somebody who has been a manager for a long time?
You have a bit of experience and stuff. I think you would have to have had a bit of experience yet. Otherwise, how could you? Well,
Collins has done it. He's done both, but then we had George Craig, like at Hibs, who had like a good time at East Road, are relatively good. I think what level George Craig had done in football. I can't even worked at Falkirk, but I don't know. Maybe he's the exception though. Okay, right. St Christopher again. Real early promise this season from Henderson and Chabraya. Now worried every time they get the ball. How has it gone so wrong? So Chabraya today had a shocker again when he came on, like a shadow of the player that we saw coming into the team. Like when he first signed, he's gone backwards at a rate of knots.
Now, I agree he's not playing that well, but I don't think he was that brilliant when he came in either. He was good. But the David Murphy comparisons and all that I read on Hibs.net and stuff, they were probably a bit premature. Like he brought a ball down at the sky once. You know, like he wasn't doing it every week. He wasn't. He looked good. He looked like a good signing, but not. He never had me jumping on the Murphy bandwagon. I hope I never said anything like that. But there was definitely, John might have even fucking said it. I can't remember, but it was definitely mentioned that he was promising that way. It's no turned out. Now he's had a bit of personal
Aye.
Personal stuff and that going on, but I don't know. I don't know if he'll be one of the 10. I know we're going to talk about that after this, but I don't know if he'd be one of the 10 or not. But he is struggling a bit.
Aye. And I
Players
think it's
sometimes just go a bad level of form. You know what I mean? He's shown
Yeah.
he's better than that. But I
Mhm.
mean, what he's no shown is he was a fucking superstar, which people were hoping and trying to claim and were hyped up at
Aye.
that time.
I think you needed me to be displacing Stevenson, and now you wouldn't
Yeah.
swap. Stevenson's a better player on current form than
Yeah.
Chabraya, and deserving his place. Hans said, "Cheers, lads! I win on my birthday. Happy birthday to you, Hans." Curvy Nisbet says, "John, while the defensive mistakes leading to Motherwell's 2 goals were disappointing, how much praise would you give the players and management who've come under heavy criticism of late for the 3 excellent goals Hibs scored?"
Mm-hmm. I've covered that. And I was wondering where his question was going to go. I thought he was going to go to doing a short bangers route because I think I've ever seen him ask a serious question before. The 3 goals, as he puts it, I think they were bad defensively for their point of view as well. So if we're criticising their defence for our 2, they've got I mean, Nisbet finished them all lovely, but I think they were poor defence. I think it was just a poor defensive show and what I saw on the TV.
Okay. William said, "What's happened to Chabraya? Complete shell of himself from the start of the season." Yeah, but just touching that. And Craig Lewis Hamilton, exact same question. What's happened to Chabraya? Looks like a total shell. Gaza says, "Not much can say. Glad of win, but not convinced. We're so weak at the back because of our own problems. Surely we can get a coach to concentrate working on defence. PS, bring back Alex Miller. Shit football, but could defend."
Just get Jack Ross in there, because you know. But you got 51 goals as well when you were there.
I can do a bit best of both worlds. It's an interesting one. I was texting Josh through the game, and you're sort of questioning like, how can we be so consistently bad at defending crosses and not have sorted it out? And you obviously have to look at the consecutive managers now that have failed to stop that. Albeit Jack Ross had that season where we didn't concede for a headed goal until the cup final.
That's right. Aye.
Which seems like a total
That's
freak
that's
now.
a mental stat now, when you think of that.
Considering pretty much every goal every cross that comes into our box now causes panic. Like I think Motherwell hit the bar twice today.
Yeah.
Marshall's obviously had to pull off saves.
Marshall doesn't come off his line very quickly.
No, he doesn't. He could come from.
So there was one day that it was just like all he needed was come and put his arms up and fall down. He would do a free kick. It's Craig Gordon would have done that. He just went up, fall down, free kick, and it's given 99% or more of the time.
Aye.
To a keeper, and you think you're actually putting us under pressure by taking one step out, because it wasn't like he was coming out and leaving his goal unguarded. He just needed to come out about a yard, and all the players were there.
If you're listening to David, didn't come charging out like Craig Gordon, though, because
no, it's dangerous.
That's no advice we would give you.
But you've got to. I mean, I think as much as he's a good keeper over his career and all that, I think I'd like to see him maybe coming and commanding his box maybe a bit more. I don't know if I'm talking. Probably get hammered by a lot of folk for saying that, because I know he's right up there in the popularity stakes, and I like him as well, by the way. And I'm not saying he's no better than previous keepers that have came and gone in that, but I think he is your captain as well. I think I'm right to expect more from him.
Aye, I think for when you're losing goals from crosses, so you're questioning your centre halves always. Like your centre halves get come into focus. The coaches, if it's a persistent problem, my wee light's just going out again, Cole. Sitting in the dark again. I need to replace it. It must be on its way out.
It's just like your badge is still get the background. You use just like a silhouette in the front.
Just that again. This is the point to where they touched me. So sorry if you're welcome if you're watching on YouTube and you have to look now. Right, so coaches, but I think you make a good point there as well. So the goalkeeper should be very much a part of that defensive unit. And if he's no commanding and organising the defence, and you leave yourself open to losing goals like we're losing. But fundamentally, it comes into the players. Like, I think if at this level, centre half should be chucking everything on the line to defend their box.
Aye, but then also as a team, we should have midfielders and fullbacks stopping the crosses coming in. We should have midfielders stopping the ball getting out to the wide areas.
Aye,
with strikers closing down the midfielder so they didn't make the pass to the wide area as well. You know what I mean? There's a whole lot as a team we could do. Obviously, they're the final line of defence, and they're the ones that are on the hook for it in the end. But there's a team accountability, above their responsibility. You know, so I think as a team we could do a lot better.
STG Hybie Pessimist said keeping Portis for the rest of the season is worth more to the team than the fee we could realistically get now.
Potentially, yeah. I'm not sure what league placing's the difference there is, but if we're 7th at the moment and we could finish 4th by keeping him above staying in 7th or just getting to 6th without him, I would expect that'll be worth more to us with the European spot that would come with it, with the league placing money that would come with it, than getting 150 grand or whatever we'll get for him now.
Aye. I wonder if Hibs would use that to sort of dig their heels in if a club was trying to get them on the cheap and just be, it gives us a hand to play. Because if teams wanting to sign think that you're desperate to sell to get the money, then they will lowball you, and understandably, so you'd expect Hibs to do if they were going to sign somebody in that position.
Yeah.
But if you've got that card up your sleeve to say, well, actually, we're prepared to let him go for nothing because...
And he looked like he was up for it today, didn't he? I mean, I think McFadden and that Boyd maybe even mentioned on TV that his performance today, he was giving everything. Like, no, he was doing too much of the fucking lying about stuff for me. Like, but he was getting in about it. And he played well.
What do you think when he went with the head knock and the referee ignored it?
Just ignored it, I know. Charlie just asked me that earlier on. I says he did definitely get a bang in the back, or the bottom of the head, top of the neck, whatever.
Aye.
And it was Nisbet was screaming at the referee to get him to stop play, because obviously Poch stayed down, not because he was hurt, because of his head knock. Play the rules, play the game here.
Aye.
You need to stop that. You need to stop that attack. I've got a head knock. But now, fair enough, the referee might not have saw it, but one of the linesmen have got to be gone.
Aye.
In the year.
Fourth official, VAR's on the fucking thing to let them know, by the way. Got a head knock. That's all they need. Head knocks.
Football doesn't care about head knocks.
I said they do, but they don't care about Porteous.
Well, aye. They don't care about it though, because they allow people to take the piss at it. And normally, you know, and they probably thought he was taking the piss at it, but then normally they carried on about it. So I don't know how they did today. Aye,
it was. I thought it was poor, and I thought it just goes back to the inconsistencies again that I'm on about. How many times have we had a promise and attack stop because somebody's fucking gone down? He'd knock immediately.
Inconsistency, but they're very consistent with it. They do normally stop it. It was just this one time they didn't. So it's not like they're saying it's no different every week. It's not like you're going with a handball rule and going, what is it? It's so inconsistent. They're very consistent with head knocks. So it's why Port just went, I'll just fucking lie here and they'll stop the play.
Aye.
Because the boys went in a dangerous area and they chose not to apply the rule this time. So I suppose you could say it's inconsistent, but actually next week it'll all be back to normal and everybody will just be falling down with having their fucking head to get the play stopped.
Because he got bodied in the run at their second goal as well. Boy,
aye.
It was like a collision, but the boy came when they lean into him with his shoulder. He made sure he caught him.
I think he makes too much of it.
Oh, of course he does. Of course he does. He's not alone. Like, he's not the only player that does it, but
I don't know what Ben gets in.
He does.
But he's not very good at it. Because he never gets the foul or the fucking boy sent off for anything.
Nah.
And actually he's doing it when we're in a dangerous area and you better get up and fucking get in that box for a rebound.
What about the boy kicking the ball off Henderson? Did you see that?
No.
Ball went out for a throw-in and Henderson's on the ground and the Motherwell player ran over and just leathered the ball off him.
Did he?
Aye. I mean, it was
the
ball was already out. The whistle had gone and that. Nothing, didn't even get spoken to.
No,
and I was like, how? But the commentators didn't seem that arsed about it either. It was just like, they mentioned it, said, he kicked the ball off him. But I'm going, I've seen players sent off for that before. Kind of like, it's a totally needless thing to do. Aye. We had somebody sent off against Celtic for it. one time. Going back a few years right enough, right? But it was fucking hell, who got sent off for it? It was doing the West Stand side, and it was like a fairly innocuous one. It wasn't even like he'd fucking leathered it off him or that, but he got sent off. But other teams have had players sent off for it because you can't just kick a ball off somebody for no reason. I mean, you consider like Rocky got sent off against Dundee last season for flicking McGowan's face. I'd rather have somebody flick my face than leather a football at me when I'm on the ground. And again, maybe that's where the football IQ comes in. Maybe if Henderson had made a bit of a fucking deal about it and done a purchase and had started rolling about, then lights back on. Then he might have drawn some attention to it. But I just thought it was weird. Linesman must have seen it because they've flagged for the throw-in and everything. The referee's right there.
Yeah.
So it's just free rein. I expect to see Hibs players booting the ball against opponents going forward.
Maybe Douglas Ross knows that Porteous and Henderson are SNP voters.
Maybe.
They say
sympathetic. Dave Graham said, who do you think has got the highest IQ in the Hibs squad? I don't know if it's football IQ or just general IQ. That
he just said highest IQ there, didn't he? I'm going to. I mean, I think Luke Stevenson.
You think so? Stevenson, I know he was going to be a politics degree, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
That was a long time ago, and he never went.
Oh, but I'm sure he still reads the papers and that, watches the news and stuff.
Aye.
Joe Newell. He's an intelligent guy.
Maybe.
Is he? Maybe no. Maybe some of the stuff he's done would suggest he's maybe no, but we've all made mistakes.
Marshall, McGeady.
Yeah, I think so.
Nah.
They were big time at Celtic as laddies. They've not had to do that 5 months.
No incentive to do it at all.
No.
Vince Robinson said, how many were typing to comment about the subs when the third went in?
This is what I saw earlier, because I did. Because I was watching it on delay. And the goal probably was going in real life when I was typing, saying, what the fuck's going on with this?
I think my tweet was, what the fuck is this? The subs were mental. When you looked at it, you're going, fucking hell, he's got to try to defend a 2-1. And the reason it's mental is we've all seen this team. Like, having watched the team, there is zero confidence in saying, see, if we try to defend the 2-1, I think we'll be all right. You've been going, no, that's the worst idea you could possibly fucking have.
So, well, we've just been really defensive here. Jabraya and Kenna came on for
McGuinness and
was it Nisbet? No, was that later?
No, because Nisbet scored.
So he did.
Yuan went off. Aye.
Yeah. And then immediately Poach's made something right away, didn't he? I mean, it was good to play. Good midfield play actually for Poach's. And it was a good goal, but I had put in one of the other group chats we're in, not the big one, but and I'd put in saying fucking defensive subs. And it must have been because I'm watching it on a stream. It must have been a delay, like actual goal had already went in.
It would have done as you were saying it. The thing is, the goal wasn't really anything to do with the substitutes. I suppose unless Poach has been in the position that he was in, was a result of the change.
Yeah.
So I suppose we all need to credit to the manager for it, but I wouldn't be banking on us to. That would be the last thing that I would do at 3-1 or 2-1. Would be go. Let's just try and fucking hold on to what we've got, because we've seen that movie so many times before.
Especially when he obviously doesn't have confidence in Kenna. I mean, he's not getting a sniff. Well, I say that it came on the day, but you know what I mean. He came up well at the picture by the looks of things.
Right, and then the last one we've got is, what should Lee call his debut self-funded album? That's for Dave Graham. It'd be like forlorn conclusion, isn't it? Like, what was the Brett one, Foregone? It'd be forlorn conclusion.
Something with IQ in it. What's the other thing you called? Didn't he call Bob Alley? Was that no one? Something he's used as well.
Oh, something like that. There's like is it Bob Alley? I can't remember.
I'm sure there's a Bob Alley doing the wings in that.
Aye, something like that. Aye.
This sounds like a good album name.
Aye. All right. Thanks very much for sending in your talking points. I think we've covered the game enough. just very quickly, Colin, Dundee United next week. How do you see that going?
Oh, we'll beat them, easy. 3-0.
They seem to have been picked up a wee bit of form and not really conceding too many goals. I think they conceded 2 in 5 minutes today.
They did, well, it was really quick anyway. It might have been less than 5. Fletcher up front, they dropped Tony Watt today. Fletcher could be a danger to our defence, just because he's sort of experience, ability, and
good player, isn't he?
Exactly. So, and Tony Watt's usually a fucking difficult player for us for some reason.
Aye.
No
physical. We tend to struggle against the physical players. Maybe just put Bushiri against him. Bushiri seems to have the measure physical forwards.
Yeah.
Like he handled Van Veen all right today, I thought.
Poaches on Fletcher.
Aye. Hope for the best.
Score
prediction?
3-0. 3-0 Hibs.
Oh, 3-0 Hibs, right. I'll go with 1-0. 1-0 Hibs.
They're right down the bottom, Dundee United are there.
Aye, they're toiling. But
they need to be. It's not a must win, clearly, but it is. We've got to pick up as a home game against bottom of the league or playoff position in the league. We've got to be beating them.
Aye, and considering we've got, I think the next game after that is Hearts, is it, or Aberdeen and Hearts?
Hearts in the cup, and then Aberdeen in the league the week after. Yeah.
So you want to be putting a couple of wins together going into the derby, and then you're starting that game on a better footing than we started the one on Monday there. So, okay, right, that's us. We're going to go and talk on Extra Time now. So if you're a subscriber, and you can subscribe by clicking on our Twitter profile and following the link there. We do an Extra Time episode, which is an extra half hour of us kind of chatting through a specific topic. So tonight we're just going to have a look at the first team squad, not going massively into depth into it, and see who we think Lee Johnson's 10 that he's talking about moving out might be, who we would definitely keep, and who we think might benefit from going out on loan to another team. So stay tuned for that if you are already a subscriber. If not, go and subscribe, and you'll get that content as well as all the old extra times that we've recorded over the course of the season. Thanks very much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't drink water, no.